Hey, morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well out there. Your host, Superman in the house for live stream number 1 today. Of course, we cover Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Hex twice a day, and of course, many other topics around that. So we're going to get into a lot of cool stuff. We're going to look at the stock market. It's fighting back, and of course, we're going to look at crypto. That's definitely fighting back. Crypto's fighting back a bit better, and of course, we're going to look at Hex and all the other products. We're going to have a look at a bit of the Hex Daily Stats coming up for day 1001. Can you believe it? It's crazy stuff. And, of course, we're going to have a quick check of the sacrifices, actually. We haven't done that for a while, so we're going to look at those. And, of course, don't forget liquid loans. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So stay tuned for all that. Let's see who is in the house at the moment. Let's get up all the coolness on the channel. Let's find that. Where's the coolness? There's the coolness. And, of course, let's get into some of the comments. Who's in the house already? We got real time and early hashtag X. I like that. And of course, Ted Nelson in there. Good evening, Suitman. And I go, good morning from me. And of course, Blobfish King. Woohoo! Love the Star Wars theme. So glad the Maximus and Icosa projects have kept us entertained while waiting for Pulsechain during this bear market. Isn't that true, Blobfish King? I think that's a great summary of what's been happening lately. And there's BDC in house as well. Boom, 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 boom. Chakalaka, 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 boom, boom. How about that? Check my pulses in the house. A great day, Xskins. Woo! Over 1,000 days of X and 1 day closer to Pulsechain. That's correct. We are 1 day closer. That's for sure. We got Jim Rat Crypto, another content creator in the house. Hello, family. Good to see you, Jim Rat Crypto. And of course, helping a lot of people do fitness as well has been pretty neat with the challenge there. I managed to get myself back on my fitness. So day 1 yesterday, day 2 today. After this live stream, I'll be going for a walk for maybe about an hour. And I'll do another walk there. And, of course, doing the weighing myself as well, changing the diet, all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be fun. Wish me well on that. Hope you're doing well today. Yes, doing well, Jim Rat Crypto. Brennan says, morning, Superman and everybody. And, of course, good to see Brennan in the house. And Z, thanks for streaming. You are wonderful, says Z. I appreciate that, Z. Very lovely words. Appreciate it. And right back at you. It's great to have such great community members in the house as well. Trucks and house. Superman is a beast. Yeah, we're in beast mode as well. And of course, we're coming. Pulsechain's going to come here eventually, and this place is going to absolutely blow up when Pulsechain launches. As we take over crypto, it's going to be epic. Richardson house said, "Hey brother, good to see you, Richard." And pumped for the chat. Me too. Pumped for the chat as well. Crypto Freedom's in house said, "Happy Monday afternoon, Superman. Woohoo! Let's make this generation of wild Pulsechain, Pulsex, and X. I like how you're talking there, Crypto Freedom. Hex to 10 cents. Well, if you know the one thing to get us to Hex to 10 cents at the moment is the Maximus and Perpetuals. That's probably the big thing in front of us, and that potentially could launch this week. And I kind of have a feeling the 1st September. Obviously, the 28th was when audits were due. So obviously, once Tipcatcher has that, we should get a pretty quick date. And of course, that's a 21-day mint phase for the team and the Perpetuals. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man. 3 weeks of fun there. We just enjoyed 2 weeks, 14 days of the What's a NFT, and of course, look what that did to Hedron. We're going to talk a bit more about that later. So let's get into it. Dave Dunn says, "If you found Hex Token, you will survive a bear market with a smile." Nice one, Dave. I like it. Let's get into it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button to go beep 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 like that, and smash the bell. And of course, leave any comments after the video. I will respond to those. What else? Hit join our Discord. The link's in the video for the Discord. We're heading up towards, I think, 700 members. So you could help with that. We've got good information, good community in there. And of course, you can get involved. And if you want to become a member of this channel, hit the join button. Become a Pulsechain, a Hexkin, or Richard Hart Club member. There's 3 different memberships. Get into it for gold. All right, cool. Richard says, loving the dip, though, loaded up and loaded up my bags. Very, very nice. Have you got a fresh new haircut, man? Hey, Brennan, you have got it. I got a haircut. Well done to Brennan, man. Hats off to you. I haven't got my Top Gun hat on. Got my haircut done. That's because I'm in training now. I'm in training. Day two of training. I got to have that aerodynamics. That's the way we go. All right, nice. Let's get into it. Stock market today. And, of course, Dow fights back. And, of course, hope you like that Star Wars theme with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, one of the most famous movie scenes, I guess there is. Pretty awesome. Dow fights back, but ends in red as Tech Wreck bites. All right, let's get into it. We got the markets at the moment. We got the Dow Jones. Remember the Dow Jones here? This is the top 30 industrials. This is down 184 points at 32,098. So that was down just 0.6%. So when the futures opened up yesterday, or earlier in the day before the market opened up, that was actually down about 1%. So actually there's been a bit of a fight back there, almost 0.5% back. And so this is actually done better than expected. The S&P, of course, and we could have also had a 2 or 3% bleed that could have happened too. The S&P 500 down 27 points there to 4,030. The NASDAQ with all the tech companies in it down 124 points there. That did actually go down 1%, but that typically moves around quite a bit. And, of course, that is down at 12,000. So those are the stock markets. So a little bit of risk off in the stock market there. And, of course, we see the volatility index go up 2.5%. So reflecting that increased volatility around, obviously, the Fed Chairman Powell at the Jackson Hole Symposium opening speech, giving us a bit of, hawkishness there. So we were going to see where that ends up in September. We've got a few things to come from that. Now let's have a look at the US 30 and 50. They're actually positive now. So look at that. They're actually positive now. So that's really cool. After the market closed, they have the futures there gotten positive. So that's really neat. Looking good for tomorrow, perhaps. And of course, the crude here. Let's have a look at the oil prices. Brent oil up almost $4, 4% at $103. Not good for inflation. That would bode, if that keeps up like that, that would bode well for an interest rate rise. But of course, we've had relatively lower oil prices in the $90 mark most of August. And of course, that's the next report that we're getting in September. Now, today I will be doing a video on the key economic financial indicators that will have potentially a major impact for September. I'll do that and get that out. I did that last month, so I'm going to be doing that every single month. So giving you an idea of what the key indicators are to look out, and you can put it in your own diaries and things like that, and keep that, because they actually potentially can move the markets. And eventually the markets have been batting off a lot of stuff, but things could catch up to the market. We will see. We'll just have to play it by ear as we go. So let's see where we get on. I don't think, what else we got here? We got the gold at $750. We got silver at $18.54. They're pretty much flat, those two. The markets are still open for them. And, of course, soybeans down 1.45%. We are expecting issues around food later in the year, possibly into 23, and, of course, the property market as well. Those are the two things. I need to do a bit more coverage on those. Let's get into the commentary. The Dow closed above session lows Monday. But the sea of red in tech stocks kept the rebound in check as a prospect of higher for longer interest rates weighed on sentiment. So this is what we might get. We might get a September a rate rise, then November, but if we get rate rises into 2023, that's the really bearish scenario. So we're going to have to watch the inflation rate and the interest rates, and of course, if those narrow, if the inflation comes down naturally, at least for a little while, that might give us a less hawkish interest rate rise. So we're going to see whether they can close that gap. Remember that they want inflation down at 2%. The federal funds rate is currently at 2.5%. And, of course, inflation's around about 8.5%. So we'll be watching that gap between the federal funds rate and the current inflation rate, and where the desired. So it's about 6 percentage points difference. So we're going to watch that very closely. All right. So in other words, it's around about 4.5. So we've got a gap, maybe about 4%. So let's see whether inflation comes down and closes that gap as the interest rates rises. That way we might get less interest rate rises, maybe a 2 percentage points or something like that. So we'll see. The rout in technology from Friday continued into the new trading week, pressured by rising treasury yields as investors priced in higher for longer interest rate following Powell's hawkish speech at Jackson, which is just summarizing what I just said. Powell suggested that the central bank would be willing to keep interest rates higher and tolerate a slower economy to bring down inflation. And that's the thing, right? We don't hard landing or really aggressive landing for the economy would be really bad for the markets. Obviously, the markets thrive on good financial results, good macroeconomic results, and it helps fuel them on, as well as, of course, federal printing of money. With the Fed's September meeting, or just weeks away, incoming economic data, including the fresh jobs and inflation, will likely sway the Fed's decision to hike rates by 50 to 75 basis points next month. Obviously, I think we're tending on 75 basis points is probably where they'll lie at this stage after that speech. Should August inflation show a second month of cooling prices pressures, at least some Fed officials will likely be comfortable with less than 50 basis points. Now, if we get 50 basis points, that does emerge, the market would be really liking that. We could see quite nice market reaction to that. So that would be pretty cool for crypto and the stock markets there. Now I'm going to jump through all the tech companies, but we're going to jump to energy. Energy shrugged a broader market drop driven by rising oil prices as investors continue to mull the prospect of major oil producers cutting output. And obviously the US is trying to do that nuclear deal with Iran. So we'll see whether Iranian supply comes into the market to offset the rest of the Middle East producers in particular. So we'll see, obviously Russia as well. So let's jump over to the crypto markets. And of course, the crypto markets, we've got BTC fight back, man. This is truly fight. We thought the stock market did fairly well in this after the Powell thing. Imagine this: the stock market, the BTC was critical position there for that next leg down. Now we're kind of still expecting the next leg down, kind of in October or November later in the year. Potentially after the Fed interest rate rise on the 25th September. But of course, BTC was getting pretty ominous, but it's back up 3% and ETH is up 7.5%. So nice to see crypto rebounding strongly. And of course, back at $20,300 for BTC, $15.54 for ETH. Now, you guys know that the one thing holding up crypto is really the ETH merge coming up on the 15th September. That's the expected date. And of course, that's really bullish, right? So really, really cool. Hey, look, 5555 on the ETH there price there. Look at that 555. That's beautiful. That's bringing me to tears. 555. All right, so we got the BNB there at $286. That's up 3%. So looking good for the start of the week. We couldn't have asked for better. It was really, really cool. So we could have recently expected maybe Monday, Tuesday to be quite negative. Like obviously the stock market is down 0.5%, 1% for the other indicators, but it's actually holding up pretty well. That's actually a pretty good day. And of course, crypto is holding up even better. So nice start to the week. So very cool. Let's jump over to Hex, of course. Hex on this chart is currently at just under 4.2 cents. Had a nice little rebound yesterday, of course. Look at that candle. That's pretty crazy. Now, this one here still has 12 hours to go in this candle. And of course, yesterday we had the low of 3.8 cents. So that's only 1 cent. That's only 1 cent above the low that we had all the way back in June 18th. So that's only 1 cent above that. So that's, it's still higher low though. Still higher lows. You can see high low here, but still, man, only 1 cent from that. That was pretty close there. And anyway, so that's where we are at the stage. Let's have a look at the Bollinger Band. You can see the Bollinger Band is really wide. Look how wide that is. The top 95% of the prices, the bottom 5% of the prices. That's pretty wide. Let me just zoom that there. Now we've got the top of the blue line there. The top is at 7.1 cents. The bottom is at 3.3 cents down the bottom here. The average 50% mark there is currently at 5.2 cents. And we're currently at just under 4.2 cents at the moment. Our EMA 13, this gives us our one of our better indicators for a trend reversal, is currently at just under 4.5 cents. Yeah, that definitely trended down as well. Then we've got very wide Bollinger Bands. Let's see if we've got any clues to where the price might be going here at the moment. We've still got the sellers in control in the red line, and the buyers there just weaker. So that's still in play at the moment. So let's have a look if we've got anything better from the RSI. RSI ticking up a little bit there. Plenty of room to move if we do have a rally. But probably the best indicator at the moment is the stochastic RSI. And of course, we got the signal of a trend reversal, but we need a bit more data. That's positive. A bit more data. We are in the oversold territory. And of course, we have got a cross here typically indicating a move up. But you can see that we've had these sort of things before. We sort of zigzag in here. But of course, we're wanting to move up. So they like that zigzag. So it can be a little bit messy, the noise. But so far, looking a bit more positive there. So let's see how we get on with the day. Shouldn't be, may get a little bit of positivity there. Now, obviously, the big thing for the Hex chart is a Maximus and the Perpetuals. The Perpetuals potentially are the big thing to move for the Hex chart coming up over the next 3 weeks. And it could be 3x times bigger impact than a COSA or more. Could be in my view, could be a 3x impact or more if it hits its full potential target. Could have a nice flow on effect. Maybe 60 to 90 million hex buying pressure from that if it translates. All right, let's have a look here. So we got a couple of things on the whale bot. We had all these big, we often talk about these big short-term stakers. Obviously, we've got 60 million here staking for 10 days. We've got 66 million here for 10 days. This was floating around. So those are the sort of things that we talk about. They're staking less than, say, 90 days, under 20 days. They keep rolling it over. 9 hours ago, we had 3.6 million bought on the markets. Then we had 8.5 million sold for 357,000. So what else we got in the whale bot? That is it. That's it. Just those two. So one buy and one sell impacting the market there at the moment, and lots of small little buyers. Let's get to the quad charts. And the quad charts here, we're going to have a look at all the markets. So let's see how they're going on. I kind of feel the flow at the moment is that we've probably got a maxi play, then in terms of strategy play, a maxi play, then a pulse dodge play, and then a hedron play in the case. So we will see. Hedron may not come down much further, but definitely one would expect kind of a little sell-off there. Supply is technically relatively scarce moving ahead, but we'll talk more about that when we get to it. So let's have a look. All right, so here it is, a hedron currently at 3470, definitely off the highs of yesterday, of today, sorry. So this chart has got a different time frame. This chart is about to finish in 15 minutes for the daily. So this is about to finish. It's different from the previous Hex chart I showed, which still had 12 hours to go. They're different by 12 hours. So the high of this was just shy of 4,000, and we're currently at 3,500 at the moment with a low of 3,000. So a 1,000 point difference there on the candle. So pretty big wide range. We're not, in overbought territory. We're teasing it up here in the RSI, but we're not really there. But the thing is, one of the key catalysts for the price rise was the WhatsApp NFTs, because obviously Hedron and the Hedron deployer was a major currency used to mint the Wattses. But of course, Alex was pretty clever, and he had many other use cases, which is really going to be fascinating to see what happens with all those different currencies. Obviously, ETH, Wrapped ETH, Maxi, and Hedron, and Hex, USDC. So it's going to be interesting to see how those things are used, assuming the Hedron deployer is a benevolent actor, which I think that it probably will be. That's just my feeling there based on what we've seen so far and the way Alex talks about the interactions with Hex. Obviously, Hedron and ICOSA are all intimately linked with the Hex share rate, and that actually limits their inflation over time. And so it's going to be pretty amazing. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Hedron staked. A lot of the big players probably not going to do too much, is my guess. And of course, that means that the Hedron's kind of relatively scarce. We've also got over time, people are going to get less and less and less Hedron with the share rate. So that could bode well. And of course, this price could be pretty cheap, continuing, in the longer term. So as we move ahead, this could be pretty hard to get a lot of Hedron, even though it seems abundant now at this price. It could be pretty hard to get over time. So we'll be watching that sort of trend over time. But in the short term, that's what we're really talking about in the short term play. We could reasonably get a bit more weakness, at least until November. But then again, it may not. It may just hold up at this area, waiting for November's big payout. And of course, there's going to be massive Hedron burn there, massive ICOSA inflation then, and of course, a massive distribution of Hedron and ICOSA, or at least ICOSA to ICOSA stakers. So we're watching out for that. That is kind of the big fortnight payday, as I call it. The big payday for that is that big fortnight. There will obviously be nice payouts with depending on exercise flowing through. But that's kind of where we look to at this stage. So not too bad there. And I definitely think there's definitely a nice play leading into November there. Obviously, you have to be a bit early if you want to participate, I guess, in that. We'll see. But in the meantime, we've got Maximus coming up. And of course, this is the Maximus Premium here. I think it's the Maximus Premium, 86%, holding up really well after yesterday. A big whale got into Maximus, obviously front running the team and Perpetuals minting. Now you need a Maxi for the team minting. And of course, some of the modeling from Maxi looks like it will, some of the Hex payout long term could over a 15-year period could beat out the 15.5 year, the Maxi token itself return. So around about something over just over 7.5 X, I think it was payout. So it looks like it could marginally beat out, and that was just based on the base token, paying out every year. With obviously you got the 369 bonus with the Maxi, which where 30% of the Maxi mints team gets redistributed. You got the 50% a bigger pays better each year from the base token given to the team token, and of course also other tokens that will flow in like Hedron into the contract as well from the Perpetuals into the team token, and including that of course is potentially other tokens going in there as well, which I like that feature. And of course you grow, the team token grows with the DAO there. So it's going to be interesting to see how much Maxi goes in there, and then how much actually Maxi gets staked as well, because the team token's going to have to they'll have liquidity pairs probably with just about everything else that we've got in the ecosystem. So it's going to be fun to see that, and obviously Hex and Hedron and Icosa, could be all sorts of pairs there. It's going to be fun to see that. At the moment, 86%. How high can this go? Of course, how high can this go? We will see. So cool. Let's look at this volatility though. We've had this big whale sold off down here. Then we had a big whale come in yesterday, and of course today we've had a pretty tight little, looks like almost like a butterfly doji there. That is currently the low of 86%. 83% is the low. 87.6% is the high. So where will this go? Will it get back to 100%, and then will it go even higher as people look at that? Because remember, 20% of the Maxi that goes in the team token is going to be burned. That's gone forever, gone burger. And of course, 50% goes to the mystery box. We don't know what the mystery box is going to do. There's all sorts of combinations on extremes. Does it burn everything? Does it burn all the Maxi? Does it make a super burn event in addition to 20%? Does it do other things like that? So we're going to see where it ends up going there. Does it pay it out to existing team stakers in addition? But who knows? We don't know. And of course, that's going to be fun to see. What else we got there? It could sell down on the market as well. It could sell down on some action in the market, making a super cheap event. So I don't know. It could do any of those things. I don't know if any of that stuff's actually useful, but it could be doing that sort of thing. All right, so cool. That's where we are at the stage, and of course, I think this is probably the big play in the next three or so weeks after it launches. And of course, this would probably then flow into Pulse Dodge Coin. If Pulse Dodge Coin can launch, at a later point there. Although the developer said it's going to be soon, right? Icosa there is at $1.24, obviously pretty tightly linked to the Hex price with the arbitrage and of course HSI buybacks through the Icosa contract. We've got Hex there. Looks like it's making another little bit of a move, push high there on the hourly. There's the hourly on Hex, so that's pretty nice to see that playing out. All right, let's jump over to the BNB chain, and of course this has not been that great lately. And of course we're down at just under 4/10 of a penny here on the daily there on the Pulse Dodge, the original. And of course that's a bit sad given the fact that BNB is up 3%. That's not the best chart there. So the other thing, of course, we've got P33, which is part of the Hot Pulse list, the Free Pulse group. That is down at 10.3 cents. So really not doing well at all. So it may get some life later on, but at the moment, maybe it's an entry, a good entry. Who knows? But it's not doing too well. And of course, there's better opportunities elsewhere, isn't there? Better opportunities elsewhere on the ETH chain that seem to be taking all the limelight at this stage. In any case, so we're down here on IM as well, not doing too well either. Down at 692, and of course, almost back to where it was. Right, so the uptrend disappeared. Really, the uptrend broke here. This is where the uptrend broke, didn't it? Once it broke there, kind of broke down, and then it definitely broke down here when it broke through these. So yeah, looking pretty not too good at the moment. Of course, that is not the Internet Money Wallet, which is a WD token, which is only going to launch at Pulsechain. That is the IM kind of meme coin there on BNB. Let's jump over to the airdrops. We've got the airdrops at the moment. Airdrops there holding up okay. I mean, a little bit of sell pressure last couple of days, but holding up at 0.6 of a penny, pretty much within the range and not doing too much. Only maybe 4 to 6% has been minted. So there we are, like 60 million, something like that. And that's a fraction, right? That's a fraction of what's happening. 4.5 million approximately being minted, accrued every day that people have unclaimed. So just well over 1 billion potentially that could be in the total supply, but only about 60 million has been minted. So that's pretty much it. Pulse Dogecoin, now I talked about this. This could potentially be the next play after, it could occur at the same time, but probably after the launch of the base and perpetuals. $3.40 at the moment. Had a bit of a volatility today. The high at $3.84, the low of $3.15, currently at $3.40. The plane is green with good old Gunther there flying. Way to go there. And it's had a bit of an ease off here. It was overbought, and it's come back quite a bit, so it could have a nice run if it wants to there on the RSI. Those are the markets. Very nice, as we say, very nice. Let's get into some of the comments. We're going to go back to the Hex chart. I'm going to move on in a second. We're coming up to almost midday my time, and we're going to get into Dipcatcher, some of the things that Dipcatcher's been up to. What else there? Let's get back up to here. Richard says, loving the dip. Loaded up my bags. I think that's where I got up to. I got up to Brennan there. Wookie says, woohoo, twice a day, says Wookie. Nice one there, Wookie. Keep up the good chanting there on the channel. Looks smite like aerodynamics, says Brennan. Yeah, nice one. I appreciate it. What else we got there? Hey, everybody. Hex Hoddle in the house. Richard says 4 cent support strong, only 3.8. Got eaten up fast. Says, yeah, 4 cents seems to be, I think it seems to be, at least for the time being, it's a good support level, Richard. I would agree with that. Hero, hello, community. All good, says Pumpkin L. Good to see Pumpkin L in the house. Mexican Hexagon, Superman, thanks for all the hard work. Insane in the membrane. I like that, Mexican Hexagon. Definitely insane in the membrane there. What else? We've got a couple more comments. Hey, kids, how are we? Says Bob Wells. Good to see you. We are doing well. We are doing well. I thought his hair looked pretty dope dapper myself, Brennan. Nice one. Appreciate that. And, of course, hit the likes, Jedis. I like that, Wookie. Hit the likes. My pants are down, says Hector. That's a nice one. I'm not exactly sure. Remember, Hector, it's a family show. It's a family show. Yeah. What else there? We've got a few other things going on here. Let's jump over to Dipcatcher. Dipcatcher had a few. Dipcatcher, the dev of Maximus, had a few giveaways. Obviously, we've got 9 hours ago. Maximus team and Perpetuals audit should be getting back to me today or tomorrow. So there we are with the timeline for Maximus. So this was 9 hours ago. So Maximus team and Perpetuals audit should be getting back to me today or tomorrow. So that's cool. A little update there. So that is bodes well. Now he's going to be looking to launch pretty fast after he gets the audit back, assuming there's nothing for him to fix up. That's major. There's nothing major to fix up. He will be able to make any minor adjustments and, of course, launch the 21-day minting phase there. So stay tuned. This week could be hell of a ride, as we say. Hell of a ride for this. And, of course, as I say, point out, this is bullish. The team requires Maxi. Could eat up a lot of Maxi. I don't know how much it could do. Let's say if 50 million out of 293 million went in, that'd be very good. Something like that. So who knows how much Maxi will go on there. Some people don't want to give up their Maxi. There's a lot of whales in Maxi. A lot of the counts. There's a lot of counts. What did we say yesterday? Was there 60 counts? No, 58 was it? I think of the Maxi holders. Are pretty large holders, over 1 million or something. It's a pretty big number. And, of course, yeah, that's a big deal. So, obviously, that's huge. The burning's massive for Maxi, so big pump for Maxi. And that premium over Hex could get really crazy. Remember, I worked out a theoretical Maxi even without the burning of 200 to 300%. And, of course, it got to about 136% or something like that. That's a theoretical, of course. I know that markets don't typically go up to the theoreticals. But that's definitely possible now with the audit, with the burn. which is really adjusting that theoretical, but that's pretty much what happens there. The other thing is the perpetuals require Hex, and we could potentially up to 150 million Hex for the bigger pays better bonus for each of them. That would be 600 million. Now, each of them has their own merits, though. So merits of 1 year, 3 years, 7 years, and 10 years. The 7 years comes out before the big 10-year stakes come out in 2030. And of course, the 1 year is more of a liquidity play. And of course, the market's likely to price that up there with a premium, maybe somewhere between the payout at the end of the year. So we're going to be interesting to see that premium there. And of course, it's most likely to be most liquid. So we won't get the same amount of Hex in each of these contracts. So it's going to be fun. But if we get all the 150 million in each of them, that's fully maxing out the bigger pays better there. We will see. Obviously, big gas savings, big liquidity optionality, and of course, the ability to do staking ladders as well with all the perpetuals, the base, the team, the lucky, and the dicky there. So we're going to see how that goes. The 10-year will be interesting because we're at the 15.2-year Maximus one, so it'll be interesting to see the 10-year. Obviously, the 10-year, if it gets sold out, as it were, sold out. But if it gets up to 150 million, then that could be pretty bullish as well. So we'll see how that plays out. Definitely the 1 year, the 3 year, and the 6 year going to be pretty interesting for that. Now, I suggest if you are going into perpetuals, then you should pick up some team, right? Because 50% of the bigger pays better bonus from the perpetuals is going to the team. And I think there could be a lot of other assets flowing into the team token over time as the Dipcatch and Maximus expand the product range. Now, obviously, Dipcatch has already hinted at doing something that I talked about a while back, which is locking up the ownership tokens. So obviously, the Hex gets locked up in the stakes, and the ownership token for those stakes, the base, the trio, lucky, and the dicky, if they created an option later where they could have staking for that, and of course, you lock up those ownership tokens, so you get even more of those off the market. And of course, people then have more diamond hands, and of course, that would be pretty cool. So it looks like that would probably be the next phase from the sounds of it with this. So this is not finished. This is the next phase. But of course, doing that's going to be pretty cool. And they could do other sorts of reward systems and interlinkages with other projects like Acosa. So I think that's like phase number 3. Phase 1 was Maximus with the Maxi token, 15.2 years. Phase 2 seems to be like the team and the perpetuals. Phase 3, we could see some sort of lockup for the ownership tokens. And let's see how that goes. It's going to be pretty cool. And of course, I could actually see a phase 4 after that. The world's your oyster on that one. So exciting. All right, cool. Now that's probably it from there. Obviously, the prize was given away. He did go, thanks a lot to whoever pumped the Maxi price yesterday and made this giveaway 9.35% more expensive for me. So that's pretty funny. Nice to see Dipcatcher indicating he possibly is going to be buying stuff. Staking Hex with the perpetuals is an elite strategy. Guaranteed trustless Hex yield at different time horizons with the flexibility of liquidity at any time. Now, yesterday I think we talked about the fact that all the payouts might collide for the team token with the perpetuals year 60. I don't think that's correct. I think it's year 210. So just to make that in the case there. So we've got all the payouts here going for the team here, payouts. So yeah, I don't think that's the case there. So cool. All right, let's get back out of there. Now, obviously, Dipcatch had some live streams and gave away the prize. Remember, there was a 555 Maxi giveaway that was actually won during the live feed there. So he did a bit long live feed earlier. So if you missed that, but basically, someone won that. Let me just find who was that. The Gaia Punk won the 555 there. So that was pretty cool. And I think that's pretty much it for Maximus. So 9 hours ago, the audit, he gave an update around the audit, and of course, hopefully, we'll get that in the next, maybe 24 hours or so. And then, hey, this week could be absolutely awesome. Let's launch. Yes, that'd be cool to launch the the team and the perpetuals this week would be absolutely fantastic. All right, I think that's pretty much that on that one. Let's get into some of the comments there. We're going to jump back to the X price and see where we're going there. OMF in it. Good afternoon, friends. Good to see OMF. What else we got? Ryan is. What would you think Hex price will be in 15 years? Ryan? Oh, well, theoretically it should be probably tens of dollars, if not hundreds of dollars, is potentially out there for 15 years from now. 10 years, probably. Actually, there's a lot of volume coming in, so maybe in the tens of dollars, something like that. DB Cooper, hello. Depends on when you're saying it's coming out, right? When you're saying the Hex is coming out, what the price would be, because we got a lot of volume coming out in 2030. We're gonna have a lot of volume coming out later after that. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Tim Tack, what's up, Hex? Gonna say Tim Top. And of course, Tom Bice there. You can only trade Hex for Maxi, right? I wish they added other coins for new people to help pump Hex. Tom Bass, no, I mean that's what the perpetuals are. The base, the trio, lucky, and the dicky, they all require Hex. So some people don't have Hex, and if they want to be in the perpetuals and stake in the staking pools there, especially with after the Maxi premium inspired people, then they have to buy Hex off the market. So that's the next bullish thing over the next 3 to 4 weeks is for the perpetuals there to push up the price of Hex. Potentially, if we say 600 million goes into the perpetuals, maybe 10% has to go buy in the market. That's 60 million. So yeah, I mean for the new Maxi coins, yeah. Okay, I didn't think of that yet. They would have to buy Hex. Good point. We don't know how much though, Tom Boss. We don't know how much people will buy. So I just say 10%. Now one could try and work out how much Hex was bought for the HSIs, and of course for which we had for ACOSA, and of course also for, I guess, arguably for the WhatsApp NFTs. People put in a lot of Hex in there for that, so that was a huge amount of Hex. Let's actually pull that up because that was a lot of Hex going in there. I estimated in excess of 200 million Hex went through the ACOSA in the first 14 days, either through HSIs or through to the Hedron deployer. So obviously HSIs are staked. They get staked out for 15.2 years. Hex is off the market. So the circulating supply of Hex is dwindling pretty fast because of these projects. Otherwise, we would have to wait for natural growth in Hex to eat up that supply, which would be a multi-year phase. These things are taking years out of the game. Really, these projects taking years out of the game in terms of reducing the circulating supply of Hex. So we exclude the Origin account. We're just talking about the Hex held by the public, the users like you and I. That's pretty much it. So cool. Man, look at this thing, man. The prices are rebounding a little bit. And the Hedron deployer's got $17 million worth of assets in it. Man, that's pretty epic. And it's almost trying to catch up. It's probably got I won't say that comment. Anyway, so it's got Hedron there. It's got looks like got 2.4 trillion Hedron in there. Hex is 79 million Hex in there. So it's pretty sizable now. 3.3 million. And of course, it's got a ton of Maxi as well. So it's the number one Maxi whale by a long shot. 27 million Maxi, and already burnt 1 million Maxi, which are very benevolent of burning another team's token. That's pretty benevolent. What will it do? How will it interact? So how will it interact with Maxi? Of course, going forward, obviously, if the team token, will it mint a whole ton of team token? Will it pay it? Will that pay that back to? I'm not sure of all the functions in the contract of ACOSA. Somehow, maybe it could ACOSA people that are holding ACOSA, maybe they'll get some extra yield. Who knows? Maybe Hedron people will get some extra yield. Who knows? Don't know. It's going to be fun to see that play out. There's lots of open questions here, depending on how benevolent it has been. But so far, it's been with the 1 million burn. That was really unnecessary. That was in the first couple of days, I think. So I think we've got a few fireworks to come from these kind of entities. So the Origin wallet, of course, for Hex helps protect stakers. It hasn't sold. It regulates the inflation. It lowers the effective inflation. It also helps to regulate the APY because obviously it stakes a certain amount and it can unstake. It can add stakes over time. I suspect that it's going to, as the price of Hex moves up over time, that it will probably lower the APY by staking a bit more. And of course, that goes to the 08, doesn't sell. It's kind of like effectively off the market. And of course, so that's all those assumptions have to stay true. But that's kind of where we are at the stage. Obviously, a big payday, protect the stakers by staking all the way up to, was it 98.7%, something like that. And reducing the big payday down to like 30-40% rather than, in excess of 100%, that sort of stuff. And so protected us from traders, all that sort of stuff. So there's lots of cool things. Now the hedge fund deployers are going to be acting similar. I have a feeling it's going to. Obviously not investment advice, but Alex is, pretty much, driving from the Hex contract and wants to benefit Hex stakers and Hex underlying. And of course, that's why the T-share rate is linked up. That's why HSI buybacks are used. And of course, interesting that Alex used, Maxi as one of the tokens that you could use as well, and then burned 1 million of them. So it's some interesting stuff going on right there. So we could see that. And of course, with the mystery box in the Maximus product, could that become a benevolent fund? It may not. It may not be. Maybe it seems a bit weird if you create an entity that's based, driving on Hex, trying to benefit Hex, and it got this rogue rebel mystery box out there that gets double the supply of the team token. So and of course gets 50% of the maxi. So that seems a little bit counter to the whole purpose. So will that be benevolent? We'll find out. And of course, it's going to be fun times. And of course, then we've got third phase coming, potentially staking of ownership tokens, things like that could be down the line. So stay tuned. We'll find out. It's going to all be part of the fun of the journey there. All right, cool. That's just a lot of my speculation there. Hopefully, there's a few food for thought there. Now let's get back over to. We're going to close down Zipcatcher there. We've got Hex Daily stats coming up for day 101, and of course we're now on day 1001. My goodness, 4 digits now. 000. Now we're up to day 1002. Remember, our next big goal is day 1095, 3 years of Hex. So that's our next target. We're coming up to that, and of course, we're on the road now. So looking forward to that. So waiting for day 1001 to show up on the Hex Daily stats. We'll get into that. We've also got obviously the big stake coming out. This is our last big candle. Let's have a look here. We're going to go out to let's go out all the way to the end of the year. So we're going to pull that in. This is the candles all the way through to the end of the year. We can see we've got our last billion candle left. And of course, this wasn't a billion before, by the way. This was like 700-800 million. It got restaked with the stuff that came out in early August. And so this is the 1st September candle, 1,273 million. We'll see how this goes. We're already seeing some of the candles that just came out in the last 24 hours. They restaked. We saw that for 10 days. They're doing a lot of 10-day ones there. But these ones here, a lot of these larger holders here in the front of the wave, as we call it, these will most likely just keep restaking and scraping interest is what they do. The vast majority. Every so often we see some of them sell, and then we go, oh my God, what are they selling down at 4 cents for? You crazy nut bags. But sometimes it happens. It happens there. But anyway, so there we are. We've got that's coming out, so we'll watch that. I suggest that most of that will just restake. Maybe some of it will go into the team token. The timing couldn't be better, right? For all these short stakers, maybe some of them will be enticed to go into the team token and get some of that premium. We will see. All right, so cool. That is very nice. And of course, we're going to wait for the results to come out soon. Let's talk about the liquid loans, the sacrifice there. You got 1 day and 22 hours and 45 minutes to make sure that you've checked your sacrifice, you're happy with it, you got no issues. And of course, that is what you need to do. It is closing off. They will finalize these numbers, and it will be too late after that. It'll be too late after that. So there is the sacrifice if you did liquid loans. And obviously, this is the biggest sacrifice that we've ever had. Is the probably will be the premier third-party tap. There's probably 1 or 2 other contenders that may come onto Pulsechain that could end up with bigger economic energy, at least in the first, say, couple of months. As potentially, there's a couple that could potentially do that. One would be possibly Fiat if it's launched correctly and so forth. So that's possible. There's a fork of Aave, so that's coming in. The other one is possibly, Overwatch products may end up being pretty big too. So there'd be some interesting plays for top spot, and maybe in TVL or something like that, depending on how you want to measure it. Yeah, liquid loans definitely got the big leader there, particularly from the sacrifice point of view, and potentially could be, this all launches 4 to 6 weeks after Pulsechain, and of course this is the next wave. If you think there's going to be an onward dip in Pulsechain, I think you're probably the probability you're going to be probably mistaken, and I'll put a 90% probability of that, probably 99 actually, these things are going to bring in leveraged lending, and of course that's going to pump asset value. So I think that any opportunity in the first 4 to 6 weeks is going to be very short-lived. Obviously, there's dips in the game. There will be large sellers that will sell. So that's when you're going to get your opportunity to pick up Pulse, for example, and maybe Pulsex are cheaper, and so forth in the first 4 to 6 weeks. But once these leverage lending plays come in, once thousands of people use this, now we already know a lot of that a lot of people want to use things like the haunted strategy or hybrids thereof into leveraging this. So it's going to be fun to watch that. And fiat's also going to play that way, right? So people will be able to deposit, make a modest return on their deposits, and of course be able to borrow that and buy the assets that they think are going to give a really high yield. So low cost borrowing, high price potentiality of the yield. Obviously, maybe some volatility, but that's the sort of play. And the asset prices for Pulse and that are going to get pumped. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. Obviously, the sacrifices, we've got quite a few on at the moment. Pulse starter there, U up token, Texan token. Texan token is a little different. It's kind of like a donation, so it's the first endowment token. It's a little different from the rest of these. Paul Pleb there token, Muchi movie, Pulse Step, Hexy Bears, Reflection. Some of these have been around for a while. Snowball, Bank X, Aqua Protocol, Radex, PLC Speak, Power City, Pulse LN, Love IO, and of course Chaosverse. Now you got to ask yourself, will any of these outperform Pulse and Pulsex? And I doubt that any of these will. The one that I would say that I do like the most is Power City, because they bring a whole ton of utilities to the Pulse chain, and I think that puts them up at a high level, right up there with probably the next level. Let me think about that. Probably the next level after liquid loans, kind of that lending leverage in those utilities, and then everything else after that. Kind of maybe some of the NFT marketplaces above that, and of course maybe like Mintra and things like that. Some of the bigger ones. Now Power City is also going to have their own NFT marketplace, so it's going to be interesting. That is still open 1-for-1 at the moment. For that, what else is there? All the past sacrifices, we've had quite a few, of course. A lot of people obviously exhausted. We're on a bear market as well. So yeah, I've been surprised at the number of kind of hourglass or tax type of projects that are taxing on the way in and taxing on the way out. I'm not a big fan of those generally. Now, some of them sometimes work well, but I think that's a small fraction, which makes them high risk. So remember that. So I'm also, we talked about Dodeca. Dodeca is kind of part of the Hex ecosystem, but it's not really. It is and it isn't. So it's looking to buy Hex based on the trading fees, and so that point of view is part of the sort of the next level on the outer skirts of the Hex ecosystem. But on the other hand, it's got some issues around the fact that if people stop trading it, if there's less interest in it, people will it just dies. It dies, and the market price can die. That's on Dodeca. So it's an interesting idea, right? But I think the flaw with the tokenomics potentially is that people just lose interest in it. So if people don't, then it can flourish. But given how many other projects are around, it always has that potentiality there. So the idea is that you buy 369 Dodeca, and it's currently worth 67 cents. So the market's crashed overnight with this, by the way. So remember, it was up at $1. It's crashed since then, so it's gone down 32%. So this is my exact point, is that if the people sell out of it, like the early people that got it really cheap, they sell out, and I don't know what the issue price was, but if they sell out, and of course people lose interest in it, then though it sounds like a good idea, people just stop trading it, and if it's stop trading it, there's not much Hex being bought, and therefore the people that holding it and don't get paid the X. So that's my concern with this one. And interesting enough, the price crashed overnight since I looked at it last night. I saw it slipping yesterday. I think it was down at $1. It was over $1 most of the time. It had a nice pump, and then of course it ended up pulling back. So let's have a quick look at that under the Hex charts. Let me have a look under favorites and pull that up. Dodeca. So this is my concern. I like the idea, but I see the flaw in it. The flaw is that people lose particular interest. Now, obviously, the market price might come down. Maybe people might say, "Oh, this is a good buy," and they buy up. But maybe it continues to get dumped on. So we got low volatility. It was down at 18 cents here. I'm not sure what the issuance price was. Let me know in the chat if you know what the issuance price was. And of course, I like the idea. Who doesn't want to get paid Hex? And if it's trading really well, you're going to get paid probably more Hex than you would in a stake, right? So, but the problem is people stop trading it and away you go. So let's have a look here. We've still got lots of buys and sells. Look, 232 buys, 717 sells, $250,000 of volume at the moment. So the market cap's just come right off, right? We were up at near 4 million, I think it was, and we're down at 2.6. So the price is down at 71 cents here, a low of 67. So these are the things you have to think about because it's so seductive, right? Because it's like, oh, if I have 3.69, I'm going to get so much Hex a day. I think it was like 30 Hex or something a day or something. Then you think, oh, I'm going to really outdo staking. But the problem is, as soon as the trading dies off, you're stuck with a dead asset. It doesn't mean it's going to go to zero, but it just gets really down. It could get down to 5 cents, 10 cents, or even, it can really crash out there. And of course, then there's less economic power to buy Hex. Obviously, if the Hex price goes up, then that's even worse, less, right? You get even less Hex there. So you got to take that into account with your capital loss. So, interesting. We'll keep watching it a little bit, come back to it every so often. But at the moment, it's come back down to here. Now, this is a pretty critical point, you can see. So if it breaks down through here, we'll see. So you might get it cheap, but then it may not turn over much. So you might be stuck there. So yeah, $37,000 liquidity at the moment, 71 cents. So interesting one there. Let me know in the chat what you think about that. Obviously, if you disagree with me, let me know in the chat there. Tom Bass says, not a fan of Dedeka. David Feder did a great video on it. All reflection tokens die after not long. Get out before that happens, since Tom Bass. Yeah, so that's probably the way I'd talk about it too. Some nice work. All right, cool. We come back to day 1001. It's not out yet, so we're going to come back to that. That's kind of the wrap up there. Check out your liquid loan sacrifices. You've only got a day, just over a day and a half or something to go. And of course, the sacrifices there, you can check those out. Now, they're all in the, I haven't been talking much about them. I thought I'd just have a quick update on them. But you can definitely get access to those on the sacrifice. But most of them I don't actually like. So maybe just the Power City, one or two others there. Pulse LN, but we don't know much about the team. You can check out, if you want to see what a lot of them about, you can check the Pulse hot list. This is a review site, of course. And I think they're getting this review site much better. It's nice to see hex.com on top now. I don't know if it was at the beginning, right? It wasn't. I think it was. Pulsechain there, number 2 as well. Hedron, Maxi. That's interesting. Free Pulse there. That's their own site. So, yeah, free Pulse there. PulseX as well. I don't know. Should they just pin these ones at the top? Should I just pin them? Pin PulseX at the top there. Liquid loans, okay. Acosa, yeah, cool, okay. Yeah. Mitra there, interesting. Pulse Step, Fiat, Pulse over, what's it? Power City there. So that's the one I said of the sacrifice. It's ranked pretty good there, right? Hex Token, Pulsepot. Now Pulsepot is expected to launch not before Pulsechain, so it's going to be launching in the 4th quarter, looking to launch on Binance Smart Chain first. Now it's got 5 chains it's going to go on. Obviously, Pulsechain is the main one that's intention for. But I think that's a good move. That's a good move to launch earlier, as we all see there. And of course, they make money on each chain, and of course, it goes back to the holders, right? So it's good, and that can flow onto Pulsechain because the holders get the benefit of the BNB. Transfer that wealth to Pulsechain. I like it. So lots of cool ones on there. Check that out. That's very nice. All right, so let's jump out of there. And don't forget to join our Discord. The link's in the video description. Yeah, what are we up to? 672 people in there so far. So we're looking nice. Very cool. This was from Dave down under there. When Hex needs a Hex token Superman pump. I like that. We're pumping up the dollar sign there with Hex on it. I like it. Nice one there, Dave. Dave down under. Check it out. All right, let's jump out of there. Bam. And jump out of that too. We're waiting for the Hex daily stats. There it is. It's just hot off the press. We got it. Man, just in time. Not just in time. So, all right, so we got day 1001, the 29th of August, 2022. The price is just under 4.2 cents there and an increase of 4.6%. Yes, we'll take that. Now, that's really cool to see that, especially after the Fed chairman stuff. So nice. The payout per hex is 6.17, so not a lot of penalties in there. The T-share price there is at $974. Of course, you can get that for a third if you decide to stake for 10 years. When you stake your hex gets burned. You remint it at the end of your stake period. In return for your hex that you stake and gets burned, you get shares, and that's how it works. So there's a reward pool in hex and shares, and obviously the more shares you have, the more the rewards you get. The rewards have inflation and penalties on them, and that's pretty much how that works. And of course, you can get 20% more shares every year that you stake. So up to 10 years, 200% more shares. That's how it works. All right, so the increase in T-share rate there, 6.4. Look at this, pretty good actually. We've had a few dot days, but it's gone up pretty good. 23,287 is the T-share rate. And of course, this is, if you think about Hedron and Icosa, this is linked in, the inflation is linked into the share rate. Share rate's going up, so therefore inflation will go down over time in the emission curve. And therefore, Icosa and Hedron. The average stake length there, 6.57 years. And of course, the annual percentage yield rate, yield and emergency in-stake penalties, yield being the inflation in the Hex contract, which is up to 36.9%. But as I said to you, really it's lower because the Origin account, the way the Origin account operates, it kind of takes quite a bit of inflation out of the market with penalties and things like that and staking. 37.9% is the rate today. And of course, remember 4 days ago, we had 81.2%. That was pretty juicy. That was pretty much the second biggest payout there. Liquidity, 252 million hex in the pool, down from 287 million. Nice. And of course, let's hopefully that some of that gets eaten up by the Perpetuals coming up with the Maxi launch, potentially in the next few days, potentially. And of course, that will run for 21 days. We could get some nice little buying on there. That is the big fundamental. And of course, we didn't have that. We could, the hex price could just mull around based on natural buying and selling. But we have this big event. So let's see how good it is going to be. Potentially could be many times bigger than Icosa. And Icosa was pretty good, especially in the run-up for the launch. So we'll see how that goes. And maybe we could get 69 million hex buying. Well, let's see how we go. I mean, it can always do more than that, but I'm just trying to say 10 to 15% of 600 million. That would be interesting to see that. Liquidity in the pool, 11.5 million US dollar in there. So we're up quite a bit there. So what's that, up 1.3 million there. Now, obviously, we've got changes in liquidity pool as well. It's not just buying and demand, but people adding and removing liquidity as liquidity providers. That moves this too. Liquidity in the pool there, 1,131 Ethereum. Let's have a look at the T-shares. So this is the ownership pool. Remember, Hex has a reward pool and an ownership pool. The ownership pool made up of shares, which is we call T-shares, which means trillions of shares. There's large numbers because there's so much accounting to be taken into account with compounding and with all the people in the ecosystem. So it's got a large number. But basically, if you remember T-shares, just short for trillions. So we've got 10,428,900 T-shares, so trillion shares. And of course, that is down 1,000. We've had 4 down days in the shares there. So basically, that's good for you. If you got a T-share, you're one of these special people here. And of course, this used to be over 1 million T-shares. So it's going down over time. And the share rate's going up, right? So over time, going to be harder to get T-shares there. Let's have a look here. We're going to jump past all that. Let's get to the stake percentage of coins. 9.64% of all Hex is staked at the moment, 9.64%. And of course, you're wondering why only 9.64%? Well, that's because the Origin account controls most of the supply. And as I say, from my point of view, it acts like an operations manager, a bit like the Federal Reserve, but in a positive way. It sort of protects its main, instead of targeting inflation and employment, it targets staker welfare. So that's kind of the way I look at it. And of course, there is only 9.64% stake, but that's a big amount of the public's staking class there. So we're currently at 62 billion Hex is currently staked. That's kind of where we're at this stage. And of course, the Origin account's got the stakes in there too. All right, so the Hex penalties, 652,000 Hex penalties today. So, it's okay. It's not a big day for us. We had a ginormous day on day 998 with 147 million. We've been that was pretty good. If you're staking Hex, you get paid the volume. And of course, if the price goes up to the right, the volume times price, you get massive yield returns there. All right, let's have a look at the numbers. Stakers here, obviously up 126 here. And of course, we expect this to taper off a little bit after the What's the NFT after mint phase. So that's where we're at the stage, 126, and we're up 107,042. As I always say, get out there and spread the word. Do what you can to spread the word about Hex using direct mail or doing local stuff around your block. You can just hand out pamphlets, or you can do stuff online, whatever fits you in your personality. Get out there and spread the word. And of course, in Discord, we do have a promotional toolkit, which we're trying to build out. Feel free to post any ideas that you've got in there, any materials, and of course, you can get some inspiration from some of the stuff that's already in there. You can check out all that if you want to get some ideas of what people have done. People are doing stickers and all sorts of stuff. There's lots of different ways to get out there. So spread the word and help grow a community. So people, obviously, the ultimate savings product on the blockchain. So up 126 stakers to 107. And of course, the current holders up 231 to 309,871. Total stakers up 166 to 134,439. And of course, here we are up 333. Total holders to 490,645. We're going to head towards 500,000. And of course, that's pretty cool. We're not too far away. All right, let's go. We're on to day 1002. Currently starting off with a 6.135 Hex per T-share with no penalty. So that is our flat rate. You're going to get paid per T-share at the moment. So the more Hex is all about T-shares. The more T-shares, the bigger volume play. You get paid most of the inflation. Remember, Hex is pretty much Bitcoin with a proof of work change. In other words, the miners don't get paid the inflation. You do, and you mint it yourself in the contract. No one mints it for you. And of course, if you get more T-shares, you get more Hex, and you get more of the inflation. That's pretty much how it rolls there. So cool. All right. That is the marks. And of course, we're going to watch this big stake coming out in a day or two. So we're watching this one here. Just put that again. This one here. Let me do a bit more. Zoom on. This one here. I'm talking about that one. Yeah, that one. We'll see what happens there. I suspect most of it will just get restaked, but maybe some will go into the team token. That'd be even better. As I say, all the stuff at the front of the public staking here is slowly breaking up. And of course, we used to have tons of billion candles staking, and now we've just got this. Look at the horizon now. It looks pretty crazy. This is till the end of the year, I think. Yeah. So crazy. Not quite the end of the year, this one, but yeah, pretty close. All right, cool. Let's see. Let's rock and roll. We're going to jump out of everything here. Oh, Pulse Dogecoin just got a sell-off. Whoa, for $3.13. OMG. Okay, so yeah, Pulse Dogecoin waiting for staking and deflation to come. I don't think anything's come out for this, but that is it. Let's have a quick look at the dev and see if the dev has got any updates, because I didn't actually check Pulse Bitcoin there. Let's have a look here. I don't think anything is out, but we will see. 8 hours. Let's jump through some of this. Hey, check it out. CoinGecko finally removed the warning message above the Pulse Dogecoin, so that's positive for Pulse Dogecoin. It was at 381 when he posted this, so that's good news. Nothing, no update there about that, so we're still waiting for that. As I say, I think the kind of play feels like to me Maxi, and then possibly a Pulse Dogecoin if we get news around staking and that. And then Hedron there in the lead up to November. We'll have to, move things around. That's kind of generally the play at the moment. So cool. Let's get out of there. Okay, let's have a look at the charts. We've got Hex at just under 4.2 cents at the moment. And of course, had a nice rebound on the hourly there. You can see that on the hourlies there. Actually got up to 4.2. So where did it go up here? 4.3. You're just under 4.3. Currently at 4.2. Hedron at 3,500, holding up still pretty well, but definitely eased off the top there. Now, this may not have a sell-off, like it may not, but definitely got the weakness there showing in already. Looks like showing a little bit there, but hey, if we get a nice solid, if we get some nice support in the next couple of days, away it goes. But this kind of looks a little bit top heavy. Like I say, the short-term game and the long-term liquidity, supply are two different things. So we'll see how we get on there. If people continue to hold that price up, that's pretty much it. Let's get out of there. And of course, Maxi at the moment at a 86% premium. Let's see how this goes. This is the one that's this is pre-launch for Team and Maxi. We'll see how this goes. I'm pretty bullish on that one. Icosa there at the moment at $1.22 for Icosa. That's kind of where we are. And Bitcoin at the moment at 20,252 with 1545 on ETH. And of course we have about 17 days to go. 17 days to go for ETH merge to happen. And of course, exciting times for the markets, generally speaking. All right, cool. Let's get into a few more comments. Andrew Reynolds in the house. Woo! Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you, Andrew. Aren't you in the Aussie, Andrew? It's Tuesday, bro. Yeah, it's Tuesday here. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday here in good old Down Under. And it's probably still Monday in northern states there, Northern American places. Brennan says, is there going to be a deflationary aspect of PLC staking? Yes, we understand that there is, Brennan. We understand there is, but we don't know any details about it. So we'll have to wait and find out about Pulse Dogecoin. All right. There we are. So green. We like that. And of course, let's have a look at how we're doing it versus a month ago. Let's have a look at how we're doing it versus a month ago. Okay, down actually on a month ago, 14.4%, down 9%. Down on a week ago. Let's have a look at the weekly there. Weekly down 5%. Okay, but we're up on the daily. Up on the daily. Green. Yes, green. I like greening on the daily. Oh, nice. All right, cool. We're going to jump out of there and, of course, jump out of the Whalebot. And, of course, there we are at the moment. Those are our prices. So very nice. Now, the other thing that we're expecting, of course, is the liquid loans DAP. The liquid loans DAP to be out either maybe on the 31st of August or the 1st of September there. So that's kind of what we're expecting. 31st of August or 1st of September, we should get the liquid loans DAP. So I'm going to play a bit of a video on that so you guys can see what's coming up. We'll be testing it on this channel, of course, with the loan token, the USDL. The USDL is going to be the beastie boy stablecoin on Pulsechain. And, of course, we need a solid, independent stablecoin that we can make DeFi flourish. It is a big deal. Also, with liquid loans comes a decentralized Oracle provider, and that's huge too. So it is really going to play a very important role, particularly in the early, 12 to 18 months in particular, and probably well beyond that for making Pulsechain flourish. All right, so we'll be playing around with that when that comes out, likely in the next couple of days. So very excited about that. All right, cool. Roderick Patrick says, what's the new SoundX token all about? Just being released on Pulsechain, says Roderick Patrick. It's amazing what you guys find out there, that's for sure. Well, we got SoundX here, the first Pulsechain token dedicated to sound. That's what it says here. One of our favorite compressors to use in the studio. This could be pretty interesting, actually. I know we've got quite a few musicians and people like that in the community. Me, part of our SoundX team, Ricardo and Andre, talking about crypto music, Hex, Pulsechain. So some interesting stuff there. That seems to be the case. So nice. I don't know if they have a website on here. SoundX token. Yeah, let's have a quick look at that. Nice to see sort of this diverse. Nice to see things outside of an hourglass type of taxing thing. That's pretty cool. They do have a airdrop. They've got airdrop there. So look at the airdrop. What does that say? We will airdrop SoundX when Pulsechain launches. 10% of the total supply of the coins is earmarked for future airdrops. 75% to be released into PulseX pools. Interesting. And 10% initial liquidity support by the team. Stay tuned for further information on this website. So that's cool. Everyone that sacrificed more than $5 listed on the leaderboard websites, both PLS and PLSX, will be eligible. Whales and poor people all receive the same. No extra action is needed. So that's pretty cool. You can see that in bigger words there. There we are. That is cool. So that's nice. If you guys want to check that out on the airdrop there, very nice pull up there, Rod, Sweet Patrick. So cool. I like that. Doesn't seem like you got any issues there. Just an airdrop, which we like. That's what we like in crypto. There's videos there, and of course you can play with those. Got cool videos. What else there? White paper. This one here seems very not bad based on it. So sound is everywhere. Main concept: the first and unique cryptocurrency dedicated to the business of sound is the new Pulsechain network, also known as SNDX. So multi-billion-dollar business. Why sound? We are passionate about sound. Any possibilities using the Pulsechain network? You can earn money passively with Sound X through the liquidity pools. By adding liquidity, you'll earn 0.22% of all trades. Fees are added to the pool. We also plan on staking Sound X and Polydux X pools. 85% of tokenomics goes for Vault and staking. Clean and affordable. Help the world. Fields of application on the sound. So all these different things, headphones, etc. Who can benefit from sound? All the artists in the industry. So it's pretty cool. Now they have got test now, so test now there. I'm not sure what this is, but we will launch SoundX when the Pulsechain mainnet is available. Pulsechain mainnet has not yet been released. You can test SoundX at Pulsechain testnet at now. So cool. Yeah, so it's got a little address there that you can pull in, I guess, for Pulsechain testnet there. So well done. All right, cool. Yeah, nice. It's got 1,000 followers so far. There, and of course I'll post that in the chat there if you want to head that up. Cool. Right, it's nice to see projects like that. That is nice, refreshing. Obviously, there's no risk from the looks of it. It's going to airdrop you the token, and it's based on sound and music, so it's cool. Seems good to me. All right, cool. First impressions. All right, so you can actually find all these projects on the 100 projects list there. If you go to new tokens on Discord, you can find all the information there. Like, cool. So yeah, the Discord, if you haven't joined, the link's in the video description. Obviously, we've got useful links. You can find everything around Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Pulsechain, Pulsex, Hex, and Pulsex. Everything is there. If you want to look at new tokens list, we've got new tokens. We've got the Pulse Police that check contracts, the airdrops to make sure they're okay. Pulsechain News has all the projects listed on there. Sacrifice projects here. Hot Pulse Hot List that reviews these sort of sacrifice projects. And lots more. So check that out if you like good information. But probably more important, good community. Get in there and say hello. Join. The link is in the video description. All right, choice. That is choice, as we say in Kiwi land. That's so choice, Albay. Hey, look at that. Almost 87% premium on Maxi. How high can this thing go? We will find out in the weeks ahead. Hex at 4.2 cents. Hedron at 3,500. Maxi at 86% premium at the moment. And of course, Koza at $1.25. That is where we're going to wrap up, folks. We're coming up to an hour and 15. I think it's a good place to finish. What else there? Hello, how are you today? Lies beneath in the house. Or hello, all Hex, EHEX, PLS, PLSX for the 100% lies beneath. That is so true. And nice haircut, by the way, says Roderick Patrick. I appreciate that. Big shout out. All right, let's play out some coolness. We're going to play out some Pumpermentals. Pulsechain is coming, and it's one day closer. So we're going to pray out some inspiration from Richard Hart himself. This is the last kind of, I thought, pretty decent roundup from Richard around Pulsechain. 10,000x. Let's get into it. Let's go. All right, bye for now. Catch you later on today.
The largest free airdrop. Let's do it. If you guys have any coins on Ethereum, ERC20s, Hex stakes, Ethereum itself, you're going to get a free copy of all that on chain I created called the Pulsechain. You can go play around the testnet right now. Go play with your coins. Pulsechain.com. Awesome. It's going to help get the Ethereum fees down. It's got higher throughput. It's deflationary. It burns 25% or more of the fees. There's no inflation. It never mints new coins. And it's going to be the world's largest free airdrop. So people love free money, and they don't like high fees. And this addresses all those issues. It's really cool.
So I put 10,000 into it early, super early. I bought the rumor, right?
Right.
What kind of return?
I never speak about. I'm very careful as a founder. Elon Musk isn't, so he gets sued by the SEC all the time. Right. I don't have a security. There is no critical managerial entrepreneurial effort. there is no pool into which people put money with the expectation of profits so it can work with others. This is very specific legal language I'm using to show you that Hex removes the risk of securities. There is no middleman that can screw you. You always mint your own rewards. You always perform your own labor. You are the network. You are the effort. And so I'm very careful to make price predictions. And I almost never make them. I do them for Bitcoin. I do them for Ethereum. But in Hex, I almost never make them. And it's also harder to predict Hex, to tell you the truth, because it's such, the price moves around so much.
Right.
It's harder to predict. So Bitcoin did 690 million%, which is a 669, what the hell? 690,000x it did. Ethereum did about 20,000x. It went from 31 cents at the crowd sale on average. You could have bought it earlier and got it lower, or you could have bought the dip on Kraken when it went to like 15 cents. Now it's $1,600, was 5,000. So it did probably 20,000x. Hex did a 10,000x. I can list you a lot of other coins that did a lot of X's. In cryptocurrency, doing a lot of X's is very possible. And so could Pulse do the same 10,000x that Hex did in the same time frame, or possibly even quicker? Yes, it could. The likelihood of that event, I don't know. And that's an important number. I'm a smart dude, but I can't predict the future.
Just like you just said earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
So could it do a 10,000x in 620 days, 623 days? Sure, it could. That's what Hex did. So when I invented Hex, I wanted it to outperform Ethereum, and Ethereum had done a 14,000x in 2.5 years, is what it did. It went from 31 cents to $1,400, maybe $1,500, depending on what exchange you're using. And it did that over 2.5 years. And I said, well, we've got better game theory. I coined the term pumpamentals. I don't use that term as often because people are, don't think it's as funny as they once did. And so we beat that target. And now, I look at the Pulsechain chat room, there's 60,000 people in it. I look at the Hex chat room, there's only 40,000 people in it. And Hex has been around for years.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think Pulsechain has a lot of really strong advantages in that it's easier to understand. Yeah, it's Ethereum, but it's faster, higher throughput, cheaper, and the world's largest free airdrop. And it saves the environment.
No brainer.
No brainer. Right. Like it's no brainer.
This coin does something. This thing does something.
Yeah.
The best.
Do you have a top 5 if you could?
Nope.
Top 5.
I'm a Richard Hart maximalist, bro. So next year it's going to be Pulsechain, Pulse X, Hex on the Ethereum network, Hex on the Pulsechain network. But why would you want worse gain?